morning friends. Today I am here with Force and Pressure part 1 of 8th standard. In this session we are going to discuss about force. Forces are due to interaction, exploring forces, effects of force on an object and types of forces. So let us start the session. First it is about force. How you can define the force? Force is either push or pull of any object. Whenever you are pushing any object or whenever you are pulling any object means you are applying force to that object. Actions like picking, something you are picking from the ground. Opening, suppose you are opening door. Shutting, you are shutting the door. Kicking, you are kicking suppose any football. Hitting, you are hitting ball with a bat. Lifting of any object. Suppose some object fall on the ground and you are lifting. Flicking, pushing, pulling. So they all are often used to describe certain tasks which involve forces. For example, if an object has to be moved, it has to be pushed or pulled. So then only the object will be moved. So this is the definition about the force. Now here in this figure you can see the hitting action. A boy is hitting ball with a hockey stick. Pulling action. The horse is pulling the cart. Kicking action. The football is kicked by the boy. And pulling action. So in all these cases, all these actions require force. Here also you can see the pulling action by man. Now next topic is forces are due to interaction. Interaction means between two objects. So whenever one object interacts on another object, it results in a force between the two objects. Means an interaction of one object on another object leads to the force between the two objects. For example, a man is standing behind a car and the car does not move. Suppose he pushes the car. He applies some amount of force and as soon as he applied the force, the car begins to move in the direction of the applied force. Meaning thereby that there is a interaction between the human being as well as the car. So force is applied. Here you can see application of force. Now next topic is exploring forces. If the two forces act on one body in the same direction, then what will be the net force? The net force will be sum total of two forces, meaning thereby that the net force will be F1 plus F2. Here F1 and F2 are the two forces. So what will be the net forces? Net forces will be the sum total of two forces applied on the same body. But what will happen? If two forces act on one body are in opposite direction, then what will be the net forces? So net forces will be always difference between the two forces. So how it can be mathematically shown? It can be shown net force is equal to F2 minus F1. And the effect of force acting on the object depends on the net force. So what will be the effect on the object depends on the net force acting on any object. Here you can see in the first case net force is F1 plus F2. Why? Because F1 and F2 are applying in the same direction to the block. In the second figure, F1 and F2 are applying in opposite direction. So net force here will be F2 minus F1. Now let us see what are the different effects of force on any object. Means what will happen when we are applying force to any object. So there are so many effects. First is whenever we apply force to any object, the object move from rest, or we can stop a moving object by applying force. Force can also change the speed of an object if it is moving. And also the force can change the direction of motion of any object. Force can also change the shape of an object. And force may cause one or more of these effects when force is applied on any object. In this figure, you can see that force can make an object to move from rest. The car is rest and the man is applying force to move the car. Force can stop a moving object. Here, force can change the speed of a moving object. Force can change the direction of an object. Force can change the shape of an object. So through this figure, you may observe that there are different effects of force. Now let us see what are the types of forces. Mainly there are two types of forces. First is called as contact force and other is called as non-contact force. So in this session we will see the difference only and the type will be discussed in next video. So what is contact force? Contact force means force is exerted by one object on other object when they are in contact with each other. How? Suppose we are lifting a ball which is on the ground. So we have to touch the ball, then only we can lift, means then we can only pull. So this is the contact force. So this force is exerted by an object on any another object when they are in contact with each other. And these contact forces are of two types. One is muscular, another is force of friction, that is also called as frictional force. Now let us see what is the non-contact force. Non-contact force, so these are the force exerted by one object on another without any contact with each other. As you have seen in magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. So all these we are going to discuss in detail in another video. Thank you. For any kind of doubts, please write your question in comment section.